Hello, Kel. This will be your day 1 push workout. Exercise number 2, resistance band leg press. I'm sitting on the floor, but if you can lie down on a bench, you can do that as well. I'm going to take the bands, wrap them around the bottom of my feet, the middle part of the bottom, and I'm going to lean back and just push up at a 45-degree angle. I'm just going to change the angle. Use whatever angle you feel it here the most. Now, I don't have any fancy editing software, so this is day 1, exercise 5, lateral raises. Honestly, my favorite resistance band exercise to do. I'm going to step on the middle of the band with one foot. One foot is easier than 2. Let me tilt the camera down ever so slightly. And we're just going to bring our arms up to our sides. Do not go above your shoulders. Slight bend in the elbow. If there's no bend, you will hyperextend your elbow. If you go above your shoulders, you can get an impingement or your neck or shoulder. Day 1, exercise 8, resistance band tricep pushdowns. I'm going to put the anchor. The rolling part goes on the outside of the door. That's what keeps it in place. On top of the door, close the door. Make sure it's closed. Lock it, especially if the door is coming into you. You really need that extra safety. I'm looping the band. Make sure the bands are even height. And I'm going to grip them with an overhand grip. And I'm just going to straighten out my arms, only moving the lower part. The upper part of my arm stays exactly where they are. You can also experiment with the grips. You can do it underhand. You can do it neutral grip, where your palms are facing each other. But for now, let's just stick with the overhand grip until we get the hang of it. Day 1, exercise 10, standing calf raises with resistance bands. We're going to put the anchor on the bottom of the door. The foam rubber side is out, the loop is on the inside. Lock the door for your safety. Thread the band. Make sure they're even, that's very important. Let me tilt the camera down slightly so you can see my feet. I'm sorry the room is not big enough to give you an angle. Okay, that didn't really help, but I'm sure you can figure it out. I like to take the bands and put them about shoulder height. I lean ever so slightly forward, and I'm just pushing up on the balls of my feet. My feet are a little bit less than shoulder width apart, and they're pointing forward. Okay, we're back on the floor again. I did most of the prep work in advance to save a little video time. I have the ankle straps on. These are the D-rings facing outward from my shins. They're facing forward. I already have the band anchored underneath the door and threaded. So I'm just going to connect the bands. Whoops. When I did that, I pulled them off balance. Always make sure that they're even on both sides. Very important. Sorry about the butt. Okay, so what I'm going to brace myself on the door. You can use a wall, a chair, or if you don't need it. And you're only going to curl the bottom part of your foot upward. And this is for the hamstrings. And just in case I didn't say it, it's day two, exercise 2. Day 2, exercise 4, seated lateral pull down. Now you have the benefit of using a bench here. So turn it so it's just slightly downward, slightly inclined, so you can get a good bend backwards. I'm going to be using a patio chair. I've already anchored the door on the top. We want to keep the elbows wide, squeezing the shoulder blades together. If your door is not high enough, then you can switch to your knees, which is what I'm going to have to do because I just had too much slack there. So I'm going to switch to my knees and do the same thing. Much better. I can even sit on my butt. In fact, if I do sit on my butt, I like to put my feet against the door just for added safety. Day 2, exercise 8, resistance band incline curls. Another one of my favorites. The door has already been set up. The anchor is at the bottom. The bands have been threaded through. Get a nice distance away from your door. I'm probably about 3 feet away from the door. As long as your arms are behind you and you're feeling tension, great exercise. One of my favorites, really. The more you can lean, the better it'll be. Okay, so we're going to do day 3, exercise 2, resistance band leg extensions. I've already set up a chair. You can use your weight bench. I anchored the bands at the bottom of the door, you'll see in a moment, and I have, pardon the bare feet, my ankle straps on with the D-ring facing backwards. The basic premise is if your legs are going forward, the D-ring is behind you. If your legs are going backwards, the D-ring is in front of you. So I'm going to sit down. I'm going to connect to the D-rings. And I'm just going to bring my legs upward. Now, if your feet are touching the floor, my heels are slightly touching the floor here, then you just need to prop up the front legs a little bit. But with the bench, you should be getting enough of an angle. You can incline the back of the bench, so hopefully you'll be able to avoid that. Okay. Next we will do day 3, exercise 3. Day 3, exercise 3, resistance band chest flies. The anchor is in the middle of the door, parallel to my chest height. I'm going to grab the band, step away from the door, have my arms out to my side. My arms almost look like the letter W. I don't want to fully extend it, and I don't want to do too much, so W is a good, and you're just going to bring them in, hold it, go back nice and slow. Remember, you're hugging a big tree or a beach volleyball. If you want to get more advanced, you can start turning your pinkies towards each other at the end of the movement. Now this is a shaper, it's for isolation. You don't need to do a ton of weight. It's not going to bulk you up. It's going to really work that inside of the pec area great. Day 3, exercise 4, resistance bands incline fly. Now I don't have a detachable incline bench. It's connected to my weight set. So I'm going to use a regular chair here. But you're going to put your bench at an angle about midway through. Make believe I'm leaning back. I am leaning slightly. And then we're just going to do the same movement we did before. Instead of coming across the middle of the chest, we're coming across the upper part of the chest. And if you want to get tricky, you can turn it in again. Hey, I'm getting a good workout just doing this. Day 3, exercise 5, resistance band, low fly. Again, I have the bands, you can't really see it in the angle, but sorry. They are anchored below the door, in the middle with the handles. Make sure they're even. I'm going to stand about 2 feet away from the door, just to experiment with your own resistance levels. I'm going to start with my arms. There's a slight bend in the elbow as always, but they're wide. That's important because we're going to go up like in an arcing motion. Don't go above the shoulders. So you want to get that in and up effect. And that will work the lower deltoids. Day 3, resistance band, supinated tricep push down. Supinated means the hands are facing up. One of my mentors likes to say, to get it straight, supinated, soup. If you're carrying a bowl of soup, your hands would be up. Now, because of the length of the band that I chose to use for some dumb reason, didn't really. I'm going to do this on my knees, but depending on the height of your door, the length of your band, this can be done standing, seated, kneeling. So I'm going to grab the bar underneath. I don't have an easy curl bar. And then I'm just going to pull down. Only from the elbow down is moving. The upper part of the arms are pinned to the side. I'm getting a good stretch. It's perfectly fine to extend the elbows. I'll move right into the next exercise since it's a smooth transition, the overhead tricep extension. I'm going to get down lower just to show you the proper technique. Because a lot of people just go forward, but you really want to go forward and up. Because if that full stretch is where you're really going to contract the tricep muscle, which is what we want to do. I'll do an exaggerated angle here. This is day 3, resistance band exercise 11, the ab crunch. Again, it's anchored at the top. I'm going to take the handles. I'm going to get on my knees. I'm just going to put the handles like towards my head, just so they're out of the way. They're not actually touching my head. My fingers are wrapping around. Just experiment. Some people like to do it facing the door. Some people like to do it away from the door. I think it's just personal preference. If you have bad knees, just step further away and just do it standing. And that's day 3. Okay, welcome to day 4. We're going to start with the resistance band lying leg curl. We did it standing, we were facing the door. Now we're going to do it lying down. The benefit of this is that you can do it 2 legs at a time. So again, I have the ankle bands on with the D-ring facing backward. I'm going to clamp them in. I'm sweating and I'm sticking to the floor. You can't really see it from here though. I'm just going to get out of the way. So you're going to go down as far as you can before it comes slack. So you might have to scooch up further. Get my body out of the way. Get a good squeeze here. It's not a long range of motion, so you really got to get a good contraction. This is day 4, exercise number 3, resistance band low row. The bands are anchored to the bottom once again. Going to bend over, maybe 45-degree angle, keeping the arms in. Notice how the elbows lead. You go up with the elbows. Right now I have a neutral grip, but experiment. Turn your hands over. Try it as if your grip is overhand. Try it with an underhand grip. I prefer the neutral for this particular exercise. But variety is a spice of life. Day 4, exercise 4, resistance band supinated grip with the bar. You have the easy bar, I have the straight bar, doesn't make a difference. Lateral pull down, supinated grip. So we can grab it from underneath. I'm using a chair, you use your bench. Put it at the slightest angle possible. The reason why we put it on the angle is just to extend the range of motion. And you're just pulling it in, your hands are shoulder width height. Now, I'm going to show you also without the chair because my door is just too low. So it can be done kneeling. If you want to involve the biceps more, bring your hands together closer. Either way, you're going to involve them. It's just to what degree. So let's say even kneeling is not good. Sit on the floor, you can achieve the same thing. Day 4, exercise 5, resistance band face pulls. Now, I'm not trying to insult anyone's intelligence or anything, but a face pull is just what the name says. You're pulling it towards your face. A lot of people pull it way too low. And while it's a good exercise, it doesn't affect the targeted area, which are your rear delts. Rear delts and hamstrings are the most overlooked muscles, I believe, because we can't see them in the mirror comfortably. So we are anchored at the top. I'm going to grab an overhand grip going from outside to inside on the vinyl straps as opposed to the handles. Get a good distance away. Yeah, you can see me. And then just bend the knees a little bit. Pull it to your face. Elbows out. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. And that's your face pull. Day 4, exercise 6, resistant bands, upright, easy bar curls. You have the band connected to either end of your bar. Step on it with 2 feet. Shoulder width apart. You can, to make it easier, bring your feet closer together. To make it harder, bring your feet apart. Have your hands parallel to your feet. And you're bringing them up. Notice the elbows are flaring outward. And we're just going up to our chest, even though it works the traps. If you go any higher, it's very dangerous. If you have your hands too close together, it's very dangerous. Day 4, exercise 8. Resistance bands with the easy curl bar, wide grip curls. Step on the band. Your grip is a little bit more than waist level, and you're bringing it in. And this wide grip works the short head of the bicep muscle. Now the very next exercise is the narrow grip, and that works the long head. So that's exercises 8 and 9, I believe. Let me confirm that. That is correct. Day 4, exercise 11, resistance band, sorry about my feet there, hip thrusters. First I'll just do a normal hip thruster. I've got my feet down and I'm thrusting my hips. I'm going to turn around, maybe you're going to see it a little bit clearer. Okay, so I have the bands. I'm putting them across my waist. And I'm just going to hold them down close to my waist. Let me spin around and show you from the other angle, just in case that didn't work. And the closer your grip, excuse me there, my hands are gripping it right here, the more resistance you will feel. Now, truthfully speaking, get my face back into the picture. Pretty mobile for 57 years old, huh? Truthfully speaking, if I could have done that from the side, you probably would have had a better angle, but I just don't have the room here in my little home gym. Again, if you have any questions, if you want me to switch up any of these exercises, let me know and I will absolutely do it. It's part of the service you paid for. You're entitled to it. Don't be shy.